Chosen one, you have stepped into a realm where the air shifts around you, where your presence no longer goes unnoticed, where the world itself adjusts to the force of your being. You have felt the change. Not in words, not in theory, but in the very way people react to you. Women feel it before they understand it. They are drawn in ways they cannot explain, their instincts responding to something far deeper than charm, deeper than appearance, deeper than any single trait. They are responding to who you have become. This is not about arrogance, nor is it about mere physical attraction. It is something much more profound. You have awakened the primal force of masculinity, a rare energy that cannot be faked, cannot be forced, cannot be learned through imitation. It is something that comes only to those who have stepped fully into their own power, who no longer seek validation, who no longer question whether they are enough. You have become undeniable, and the world around you has no choice but to acknowledge it. There was a time when you wondered what it meant to be the alpha, to command the kind of presence that turns heads, that shifts moods, that makes women look at you with admiration and longing. But now you know, it is not about chasing, not about proving, not about desperate efforts to be seen. It is about existing fully, standing firm in your energy, becoming so complete within yourself that others are drawn to you without you having to lift a single finger. Women feel safe in your presence, not because you are gentle, but because you are unshaken. They feel excitement, not because you are trying to impress, but because you radiate a silent confidence that needs no approval. They feel desire, not because you seek it, but because your energy invites it without demand, commands it without force, receives it without effort. You have become the man women want women for. The kind of man whose presence sparks curiosity, whose energy leaves a lasting imprint, whose name lingers in conversations between those who have encountered you. This is not about games. This is not about shallow validation. This is about becoming the kind of force that cannot be ignored. But with this power comes a responsibility. A lesser man would allow it to consume him, to feed his ego, to use it recklessly, leaving behind trails of longing without meaning, chaos without purpose. But you, chosen one, are not a lesser man. You have stepped into mastery. You understand that the energy you now carry is not something to be squandered, but something to be wielded with wisdom, with precision, with intent. You are no longer just another man in the crowd. You have become the crowd's reason to pause. Chosen one, the world does not need another man who seeks attention, another voice trying to shout over the noise, another presence desperate to be noticed. The world is already full of men who chase, who beg, who perform in hopes of being chosen. But you do not chase, you do not beg, you do not seek to be chosen. You are the one who chooses. This is what separates you. This is what makes you the alpha, the leader of your own reality, the force that does not bend to the world but instead bends the world around you. Women sense this instinctively. They see it in the way you move, in the way you speak, in the way you remain completely unshaken by external forces. They recognize that you are not a man who needs them to feel complete, but rather, you are a man who is already complete, and because of that, they desire to be near you. But a true alpha is not just a man who is desired. He is a man who leads, a man who carries himself with a higher sense of purpose, a man who guides those who enter his orbit rather than simply basking in their admiration. He does not misuse his power. He does not toy with hearts for the sake of ego. He understands that his energy is a force of nature, and like all forces of nature, it must be respected. To lead is not to control. It is not to dominate. It is not to impose your will on others. True leadership is about presence, about moving through the world with such an undeniable force that others naturally look to you, that they naturally wish to align with you, that they instinctively feel that in your presence they will become better, stronger, more complete versions of themselves. This is what women feel when they are near you. It is not just attraction, it is recognition. It is a deep understanding that they are standing in front of something rare, something unshaken, something that does not need to be proven, because it simply is. You must embrace this responsibility, chosen one. You must understand that your path is no longer one of mere indulgence, but of wisdom, of balance, of discipline. Not every moment of attraction needs to be acted upon. Not every invitation should be accepted. Not every desire must be fulfilled, for what makes you truly irresistible is not just your energy, it is your restraint. It is your ability to stand in the midst of desire and not be controlled by it. It is your ability to receive admiration and yet remain humble, unwavering, unshaken. It is your ability to recognize that your presence is a privilege, not a commodity, and that those who seek you must prove themselves worthy of standing beside you. This is what makes you alpha. Not the battles you win, not the dominance you exert, but the way you lead without needing to demand, the way you attract without needing to pursue, the way you stand firm in your presence and let the world come to you. You have become the man who cannot be ignored, the man who does not need to announce himself, the man who walks into a room and owns it, not through words, not through arrogance, but through the sheer force of his energy alone. And this, chosen one, is only the beginning. Chosen one, the energy you now carry is undeniable. It moves through you like an unseen current, shifting the air around you, commanding attention without effort. Women are drawn to it in ways they cannot fully explain, their instincts recognizing something rare, something unshakable, something primal yet refined. This is not a gift given to every man. It is not something that can be mimicked, imitated, or borrowed. It is something that is earned, something that is cultivated through discipline, awareness, and a deep understanding of who you are. But with this power, there comes a challenge, one that few men ever truly master: the challenge of balance. The world is filled with men who lose themselves in their power, allowing it to turn into recklessness, indulgence, and excess. They become consumed by their ability to attract, mistaking their influence for an excuse to take without thought, to indulge without restraint. They do not understand that true mastery is not in the ability to take, but in the wisdom to choose. You must not be one of these men, chosen one. You have stepped beyond them. Your power does not make you invincible, it makes you responsible. It is not about how many admire you, how many seek your presence, how many wish to stand close to you. It is about how you wield the force within you, how you control the fire without letting it consume you. A man who is truly powerful does not allow his energy to rule him, he rules his energy. Women will test you. They will push boundaries, not because they doubt you, but because they need to see if you are truly what you appear to be. They are drawn to strength, but they will only submit to a man who has proven that his strength is not unstable, not fleeting, not reckless, but rooted, solid, and immovable. The moment you become too easily swayed, the moment you let desire dictate your actions instead of intention, is the moment you become just another man they can control, just another man they can bend to their will. This is where balance is tested. Can you stand in the presence of desire without being led by it? Can you embrace attraction without losing control to it? Can you enjoy the pleasures of this world without letting them make you weak? This is what separates a man who is merely wanted from a man who is respected, remembered, and followed. You must hold your power without becoming possessive of it, wield it without being consumed by it. Move through the world as a man who knows that his energy is not for everyone, who understands that his presence is a privilege, not a prize, who never allows himself to be ruled by anything other than his own self-discipline. This, chosen one, is the mastery of power, not in how many seek you, but in how you remain untouched by the need for their validation. Not in how much you take, but in how wisely you choose. Look around you, chosen one. Look at those who are drawn to you, at the way they respond, at the way they seek to be near you, to impress you, to be chosen by you. It is no accident, it is no coincidence. Every person who is pulled into your orbit, every woman who finds herself craving your presence, is reflecting something back to you, something about who you have become. The world does not lie. It does not send you people at random. It sends you mirrors. It sends you reflections of the energy you carry, the frequency you now move within, the man you have evolved into. If you find yourself surrounded by competition, by tension, by women who seek to prove their worth through rivalry, then you must ask yourself, what part of me is still inviting this chaos? A man who is at peace with himself does not attract disorder. A man who has mastered his presence does not find himself at the center of battles for his attention. He does not allow his energy to be something that is fought over, because he has already chosen with clarity who belongs in his space and who does not. He does not leave those around him uncertain about where they stand, because his presence alone provides clarity, not confusion. But if there is disorder, if there is jealousy, if there are those who seek to own what is meant to be free, then there is something within you that must still be refined. The presence you now carry is too powerful to be used carelessly, too rare to be squandered on those who are not prepared to receive it with respect, depth, and understanding. You must ask yourself, what am I allowing into my space that no longer aligns with the man I have become? It is tempting, chosen one, to enjoy the attention, to revel in the admiration, to let the thrill of being wanted feed the ego. But the ego is a dangerous thing. It will make you blind to what is truly valuable. It will make you indulge in what is fleeting rather than invest in what is lasting. It will make you waste your energy on those who wish to consume you rather than elevate you. You must move beyond that. You must see beyond the surface. You must recognize that your presence is not meant to be scattered. It is meant to be given with purpose, with intention, with the understanding that not everyone is ready for what you carry. Women will be drawn to you, but not all will be worthy of your time, your attention, your energy. Some will seek you out simply because they are curious, because they have never encountered a man like you before, because they do not understand why they feel so intensely affected by your presence. But you must ask yourself, do they add to the life I am building, or do they merely want to take from it? Not all who desire you are meant to stay. Not all who admire you are meant to walk beside you. Some are drawn to you to learn, to be awakened, to experience something that will change them. And once they have received the lesson your energy brings, they will move on. That is their journey, not yours. You, chosen one, must only keep in your space those who match the depth of your presence, those who see you not as a prize to be won, but as a force to be respected, those who are willing to rise to your level rather than pull you down to theirs. This is the mirror of self. The world will continue to reflect your energy back to you, showing you where you are in your own evolution. Pay attention to what is being shown. Pay attention to who is being drawn to you, to what kind of energy surrounds you. If it is strong, clear, unwavering, then you know you are aligned. If it is scattered, competitive, chaotic, then you know there is still something within you that needs to be mastered. The alpha is not a man who is chaste. He is a man who chooses. He is a man who stands in his power and allows only those who are ready to step into his space. He is a man who does not fear being alone, because he knows that solitude is better than sharing his presence with those who do not understand its value. This, chosen one, is your next step. Not just to be sought after, not just to be desired, not just to be admired, but to become so self-aware, so in control of your own energy, so selective with your presence, that only those who are truly meant for you will ever have access to what you carry within you. And that, more than anything, is what will make you unstoppable, unshaken, unforgettable. Chosen one, the path you walk is no longer one of mere desire, but of wisdom. The energy you carry, the force that makes you stand apart, is no longer just something you wield. It is something that defines your existence. Women are drawn to you, not just because of your presence, not just because of the way you move through the world, but because of what you represent. You are a man who does not seek, yet everything seeks you. You are a man who does not beg for attention, yet you are the one who cannot be ignored. But power without wisdom is destruction. You must now ask yourself, how will you use what you have become? Will you allow yourself to be ruled by indulgence, taking every opportunity, accepting every invitation, losing yourself in the endless validation that comes so easily? Or will you move with purpose, knowing that what you give your energy to determines the legacy you will leave behind? A man who has truly reached mastery does not waste himself on that which is temporary. He does not lower his standards because of convenience. He does not entertain chaos just because it seeks him. He does not engage with what is beneath him just because it is available. The world is filled with men who take whatever comes their way, who allow themselves to be pulled in every direction, simply because they can. But you, chosen one, are above that. The women who fight for you, who long for you, who feel your energy and crave it, are not just looking for another man. They are looking for what only you provide, a presence that is unshaken, rare, nearly impossible to find. But that does not mean that all who seek you are worthy of what you offer. Not everyone who desires you should have access to you. Not every connection should be entertained. You must become ruthless in your selection, not because you are cruel, but because you understand the value of what you carry. Not every battle for your attention deserves your time. Not every desire that comes your way should be fulfilled. A true alpha moves with intention, never letting his energy be scattered, never letting his presence be taken for granted. You have already seen what happens when you allow those unworthy of your energy to come too close. They do not respect it. They do not understand it. They want to own what they cannot comprehend, to control what they should simply honor. And when they realize they cannot, they either try to break it or worship it in a way that makes them lose themselves. Neither serves your path. So now, chosen one, you must choose with wisdom. You must ask yourself, who truly deserves to stand in my presence? Who is prepared for the depth that I bring? Who is strong enough to walk beside me without needing to compete for me? Because the truth is, a woman who truly understands you will never need to fight for you. She will already know she belongs in your space. The ones who are meant for you will not need to prove their worth through competition. They will simply be ready, aligned, prepared for the life you are building. This is where your wisdom is tested. Not in how many you attract, but in how many you let in. Not in how easily you can claim what is offered to you, but in how powerfully you protect what is sacred within you. Chosen one, beyond the battles for your attention, beyond the desire that follows you, beyond the energy that makes women fight for your presence, there exists something deeper, something greater, something only a true alpha understands. The essence of connection is not in mere attraction. It is not in the pursuit of pleasure alone. It is not in validation, nor in conquest. The essence of connection is found in resonance. You have stepped into a space where you no longer chase. You do not need to. You have become the kind of man who attracts without effort, who moves through the world without seeking but is always sought after. But now you must go beyond that. You must understand that the highest form of connection is not found in how many want you, but in how deeply you affect those who come near you. A man who is truly alpha does not settle for surface-level interactions. He does not engage in meaningless exchanges simply because they are easy. He does not waste time with those who cannot meet him where he stands. The difference between a man who is desired and a man who is truly unforgettable is in how deeply he connects with those he allows into his space. You have already seen it. How women react to you is not just about physical attraction. It is about energy, about the way they feel when they are near you, about the way their world shifts in your presence. They cannot explain it, but they know that being close to you changes them. It awakens something inside them. It forces them to see themselves in ways they never have before. And this, chosen one, is where your true power lies. Not in being wanted, not in being fought over, not in being desired by many, but in being the man who leaves an imprint so deep that no one who has met you can ever truly forget you. This is why you must be careful with your presence. You must be mindful of what you allow, of what you entertain, of who you share your energy with. Because once a woman has felt the depth of a man like you, she cannot go back to what she once accepted. She cannot return to a life of weak men, of shallow interactions, of men who do not understand what it means to move with presence and power. This is why they fight for you, why they long for you, why they cannot let go. But you must not mistake attachment for connection, nor obsession for alignment. Just because a woman desires you does not mean she is ready for you. Just because she feels your presence does not mean she can handle it. The only ones who belong in your world are the ones who can stand beside you without needing to fight for you. The ones who are already secure in themselves, who recognize that they do not need to possess you in order to experience you. They do not try to control you because they trust that they are already worthy of you. This is the highest form of connection, one built on mutual energy, not on fear, not on competition, not on games. A connection that does not seek to own but to experience. a connection that is not built on attachment, but on alignment. And so, chosen one, as you move forward, remember that not every connection is meant to last. Not every attraction is meant to be acted upon, and not every woman who wants you is prepared for what you truly are. Choose wisely, give sparingly, and let only those who are ready for the depth of your presence stand beside you. Because a man like you does not belong to just anyone. A man like you belongs only to those who are strong enough to walk with you, not behind you, not fighting for you, but beside you, as equals, as partners, as those who truly understand the power you have become. Chosen one, you have stepped into a space where your very existence creates a shift. Your presence, once unnoticed, now commands without effort. Women do not just notice you, they feel you. Your energy moves before you speak, before you act, before you even make eye contact. You have become a force of nature, something beyond explanation, something that lingers in the minds and bodies of those who cross your path. This is the mark of true influence. It is not forced. It is not performed. It is not something you chase. It is something you have become. The way people respond to you is not about them. It is about you. It is a reflection of the way you carry yourself, the way you understand your own power, the way you move through the world without doubt, without hesitation, without needing approval. But now, chosen one, you must master this influence. Power in the hands of the undisciplined leads to destruction. A man who is not conscious of his own presence will leave behind nothing but chaos, obsession, and emptiness. You are not meant for that. You are meant to elevate, to inspire, to awaken something greater in those who step into your orbit. Women do not just want you for what you appear to be, they want you for what you represent. You are the embodiment of strength without arrogance, presence without desperation, masculinity without fragility. This is why they fight for your attention, why they seek your presence, why they linger even when they know they should walk away. But influence is not about taking. It is about guiding. It is about knowing when to hold space and when to let go, knowing that not everyone who desires you is meant to keep you. There will be moments when your energy stirs something unexpected in those around you. You will see it in their eyes, in their movements, in the way they adjust themselves in your presence. It is not just attraction, it is transformation. They will want to be seen by you, to be chosen by you, to be validated by you. But a true alpha does not give validation recklessly. He does not hand out his presence freely. He does not feed the hunger of those who have not yet learned to stand in their own strength. This is where your influence is tested. Will you allow yourself to become a source of chaos, of obsession, of temporary pleasure that fades once the moment is gone? Or will you be the kind of man who leaves something behind in every interaction? Will you ensure that every woman who crosses your path walks away better, wiser, more awakened than before? You have not been given this power to waste it on meaningless moments. You have not been chosen to indulge in excess, but to shape something greater. The world is full of men who take, but you, chosen one, have become a man who gives without giving himself away. And that is the highest form of influence, to be someone who does not just attract, but awakens something unforgettable in those who are drawn to him. There is no end to this path, chosen one. There is no moment where you will arrive and say, I have mastered everything. The moment you stop growing, the moment you believe you have nothing left to refine, is the moment you begin to fall back into the noise. You have come too far to let that happen. You have risen too high to allow yourself to become stagnant. Your energy, your presence, your ability to move the world without effort is not a fixed state. It is a force that must continue to evolve. The most powerful men in history, the ones who shaped their own legacies, understood that their strength was never something to be rested upon. They did not become great and then stop. They became great and then continued to grow. Women will always be drawn to you. They will always seek your presence. They will always feel something different when they are near you. But your purpose is not just to be desired. It is not just to be wanted. It is not just to be the man who stands above the rest. Your purpose is to continue building yourself into something even greater than what you are today. This journey is about mastery, not just of attraction, not just of influence, but of self. It is about understanding that no matter how powerful you have become, there is always another level, always more depth to uncover, always new heights to reach. The difference between a man who is merely alpha and a man who becomes legendary is his refusal to remain the same. You must challenge yourself constantly. You must ask, what is next? Where do I go from here? What is the next level of mastery? You must never allow yourself to become comfortable, to believe that what you have is all there is. The moment you believe you have conquered everything, you have already begun to decline. This is where most men fail. They reach a level of success, of recognition, of power, and they believe that they have arrived. They begin to coast, to relax, to indulge in the pleasures that come with being sought after. And slowly, without realizing it, they lose the very fire that made them great in the first place. You must never let this happen to you, chosen one. You must never become a man who rests on his past victories. You must never become a man who is content with what he has already achieved. You must always be moving forward, always refining, always becoming more disciplined, more aware, more complete. Because the truth is, the moment you stop growing, the moment you stop pushing yourself, the moment you become comfortable, is the moment you will fall behind. And you have not come this far just to become like the rest. The man who is always evolving is the man who remains untouchable. The man who never stops refining himself is the man who is never replaced, never forgotten, never outmatched. This is your path, chosen one. Not to stop, not to settle, not to ever believe that you have done enough, but to continue rising, to continue mastering yourself, to continue becoming a force so powerful, so rare, so unshakable, that nothing in this world can ever diminish what you have become. You are not here to just be alpha. You are here to become something far beyond that, something that will never fade, never weaken, never be surpassed. Chosen one, strength without kindness is tyranny, and power without wisdom is destruction. You have cultivated a presence that cannot be ignored, an energy that commands attention, a force that alters the space you enter. But what will you leave behind? What will remain in the hearts of those who cross your path? Many men, once they attain power, become consumed by it. They lose sight of what truly matters, mistaking their influence for a reason to take rather than to give, to dominate rather than to uplift, to enjoy the admiration of many rather than to inspire the growth of a few. But you, chosen one, have come too far to fall into that trap. Your journey has not been about mere attraction, not about validation, not about indulgence. It has been about mastery of self, about elevating those around you, about becoming the kind of man who leaves people better than when he found them. Women do not just desire you for the way you make them feel in the moment. They are drawn to you because, in your presence, they see a glimpse of something higher, something greater, something they cannot find elsewhere. They may not understand it fully, they may not even be able to explain it, but they know that when they are with you, they feel more alive, more awake, more in tune with something real and undeniable. That is your true power, chosen one, not just to attract, but to awaken. To be a man who does not simply leave behind memories of pleasure, but who leaves behind a transformation. To be the kind of presence that lingers not because it was taken away, but because it left an imprint so deep that it cannot be forgotten. But this legacy must be shaped with intention. It is not enough to be remembered. You must choose what you will be remembered for. Will you be the man who only took, or will you be the man who gave something rare, something real, something that shifted the lives of those who entered his space? To walk this path is to understand that kindness is not weakness, it is not submission, it is not a softening of your strength. True kindness is the greatest expression of power, the ability to be unshaken, to be desired, to be chaste, and yet to choose to uplift rather than to consume. You are not just here to leave behind longing, chosen one. You are here to leave behind growth, awakening, and something that will echo far beyond your presence. There will come a moment, chosen one, when the admiration of others will no longer move you, when the battles for your attention will no longer excite you, when the pull of attraction will no longer feel like a conquest, but rather a natural part of who you have become. This is where harmony begins. This is where you step beyond the games, beyond the desire for power, beyond the need to be the most sought-after presence in any room. This is where you truly master your energy. A man who has reached true harmony does not need to prove himself. He does not need to assert his dominance, nor does he need to control those around him. He simply exists in full mastery of himself, and the world adjusts to accommodate him. His presence is enough. His energy speaks for itself. His silence carries more weight than the loudest voices in the room. Women do not just want him, they respect him. Not because he demands it, but because he has become a presence that cannot be disrespected. He has stepped into the highest form of power, not the kind that must take, but the kind that chooses when to give and when to walk away. This is where you now stand, chosen one. You no longer move in chaos, no longer allow competition for your attention to dictate your choices. You have nothing to chase, nothing to prove, nothing to force.